You just started with arpeggios? You want to know more about them and how they are used? Then check out this new Arpeggio series, where we will start from the very beginning and move on to advanced arpeggio use. No matter what style of music you play, knowing arpeggios is an essential part of being a good guitar player. So let's start learning all there is to know about them. Join me in my new Arpeggio workshop series.
Hi everybody, welcome to the fourth in line lesson of the Arpeggio workshop series. This course is designed to help you learn everything you want to know about arpeggios. And in this lesson we will focus on 7th chord arpeggios. If you haven't checked the previous lesson, I advise you to do so, since we covered the basics needed for this one. If you are already familiar with basic arpeggio concepts and arpeggio triads, you should have no problem following this one. 7th chord arpeggio topic is being divided into 2 lessons. In the first one, we did vertical positioning, the cage system. And in this lesson, we will cover diagonal movements using 7th chord arpeggio patterns. This lesson is a great addition to the previous one, since we will cover some very cool diagonal moves of these arpeggios that can be useful to you when switching positions or for some interesting runs. As before, this lesson contains backing tracks for practice, so you can rehearse those diagonal moves properly. Have fun! Okay, I will guess that you are already familiar with 7th chord arpeggios by now, since we covered them in the previous lesson. Again, if you didn't check that lesson out and learn the shapes well before moving to this one, since the first lesson contains important theory information about 7th chords and 7th chord arpeggios in general. Here these things will be mentioned briefly, and we are currently in the key of C major. And first arpeggio will be C major 7th one. There are 4 basic diagonal movements in each arpeggio. Now let's check the first move of C major 7th. Here's the second move. The third move. And the fourth move. As you can see, some of these arpeggios require some stretching, so be sure to warm up the fingers before you start. Also bear in mind that you don't have to rehearse some of the patterns if they are too difficult for you. For example, some big stretches on the beginning of the fretboard. I would advise to practice them all if you can play them, and do it very slowly. Always stretch your fingers before attempting to play them, since they can put a lot of strain on your fingers. In this video, we will cover F major 7th arpeggio. As you know, this arpeggio has the same pattern as C major 7th one, but on a different position. So let's use 4 moves that we already covered. First move is over here. Second one here. Third one here. And fourth one here. Always take some time after you play them for a couple of times to imagine where they are on the fretboard relative to the key you are in. I advise taking C major pattern, and F major 7th arpeggio pattern, and printing them out next to each other and just play and analyze where those notes are within the C major scale. In this video we will cover G dominant 7th arpeggio. As you know, this arpeggio has its own pattern because of the flatted 7th interval. Let's now play 4 moves that we can find over this pattern. First one. Second one. Third one. And the fourth one. Learning dominant arpeggio is particularly useful for blues, and you can find lots of cool functions for it in all styles, of course. I advise that you spend some time on it, since it is not repeated on any other note of the scale. In this video we will cover minor 7th arpeggios, all 3 of them. Minor 7th chords are on the 2nd, 3rd and 6th degree of the scale. And in the key of C major we have D minor 7th, E minor 7th and A minor 7th. Let's now play them in this order. D minor 7th, first move. Second move. Third move. And fourth move. Now the E minor 7th, first move. Second move. Third move. And fourth move. Then we have the A minor 7 chord. First move. The second move. Third move. And the fourth move. Okay, these three arpeggios have the same pattern, only in different positions. As for other patterns, it can be useful to print them out and analyze them side by side with C major full pattern, so you can really understand where they are relative to the scale. Last arpeggio that we will cover is B diminished seventh. It has a unique pattern and unique sound because of the minor third and flatter fifth. Let's play 4 moves on this pattern. First move. Second move. Third move. And fourth move. This is a great arpeggio to add a specific diminished vibe to your licks, and if you play this run over a B diminished chord and finish on the root note of the second chord in the harmonic progression, it can be very effective. Same goes for other arpeggios too. Since we covered the patterns in this lesson, you can see them now below the video, and as before, now comes the part where you need to play the backing and play all these arpeggios. Use the patterns as guidelines, but for completion of the lesson, you need to be able to play them without looking at the patterns at all. This can take some time to master, but many of these are repeated only in different positions, which ultimately leads us to only 4 different sets of 4 diagonal moves on the fretboard. Learning these 16 moves can be challenging, but one at a time they will be memorized very quickly, and you will really start to feel them in your playing. If you feel that this is too much for you at the moment, I strongly advise that you learn 1 or 2 of these runs nicely. Pick one that you like. After you see the results that will show in your playing, you will quickly come back for more. So practice well.